Salt, a seemingly humble and ubiquitous mineral, expends its energy, undergoes transformative changes, and remains abundant on our planet. It serves as a vital lifeline for humanity, bearing the radiant brilliance of human intellect. We trace the footprints of salt across Africa, Asia, Europe, and America, transcending regional boundaries, intimately connecting with human civilization and the chronicles of salt's history, observing the interdependence between humans and the earth. Within lies the essence of cruelty, courage, and fortitude, giving rise to poignant tales of the bond between man and nature. This is the tale of salt and earth, salt intertwined with life, salt for existence. The Danakil Depression, nestled deep within the Ethiopian Plateau's desert, stands as Earth's most scorching location in terms of year-round average temperature, a treacherous realm where human existence is impossible. Among this desert's inhabitants, the Afar people alone possess the resilience to endure the extreme heat and persist in this harsh environment for extended periods. Meet Mosa and his son, both yearning to be favored by fate in the days to come. Under the veil of darkness, a multitude of men armed with wooden staffs converge upon this place from all directions. Unremarkable at first glance, these staffs, held by the men like crutches, bear great significance. They are used to navigate camels. Anxious anticipation fills the air as they await the final moment. The clan elder randomly selects a handful from the throngs, determining the fortunate ones who will secure a dream job for tomorrow. They venture into a place dubbed Hell, a desert that even wildlife fears. Mosa, his son, and the other chosen men journey deep into its heart to extract salt. Dalol, situated in the northern region of the Great Rift Valley, is no ordinary volcano. It may well be the most peculiar one on Earth. During eruptions, subterranean salt is thrust to the surface, while Red Sea groundwater evaporates, leaving behind an expansive salt basin spanning 2,000 square kilometers. Some areas delve as deep as 2 kilometers. In ancient Africa, salt held a value equivalent to gold, earning the desert's salt the metaphorical moniker of white gold. Prior to the discovery of oil, salt likely stood as Africa's most precious economic resource. For Mosa and his fortunate son, salt remains their sole means of survival, albeit fraught with immense risks. Mosa imparts the art of axe sharpening to his eager son. In yesteryears, Mosa's own father guided him through each step, fostering the hope that his son would one day follow in his footsteps. Although it is merely early spring in April, temperatures have already soared beyond 45 degrees Celsius. For Mosa and his son, every expedition into the depths of the desert carries immense significance in their lives. With measured steps, they approach the dreaded realm known as Hell, traversed by camel caravans leaving trails of dust. The vast salt flat resembles an enormous mirror, casting brilliant arrows of sunlight. Averting one's gaze from the glaring reflection is imperative, for it can swiftly blind the unwary. Within this region, two indigenous peoples have long resided, the Afar and the Tigray. The Tigray people thrive amidst the lush grasslands of the Ethiopian plateau, overseeing sizable herds of camels and plentiful forage. In contrast, the Afar people dwell deep within the scorching desert, reaping the bountiful salt plains, a source of boundless wealth. Thus, a pact was forged between the two. The Afar collect the salt, while the Tigray handle its transportation. Following a 2-hour trek across the desert, the Afar people reach their destination, the salt mining site. Mosa and his son join forces with a newfound comrade who secured the job opportunity the previous night. Their initial task involves striking the ground, creating a fracture that will pry open the salt slabs. They proceed to fashion these slabs into standardized half-meter blocks. With practiced hands, Mosa and his son adeptly slice these resilient yet delicate salt slabs into precise square forms, well aware that any fractures diminish their market value. No remorse accompanies the severing of the salt. Its fragments will naturally merge with the earth, rejoining the salt crust once more. Across the desert, the Tigray people guide their camels in search of their trusted partners. Mosa and his son vend each salt block for 11 cents. Their path leads them towards the Ethiopian plateau, where they anticipate selling the salt at nearly 10 times the initial price.
كويس عندي دقمت
فاك نبغو يعني وكايتون نروتو أروي روتو يعني مانغو كروبتك مانغوم بيتا دو كروبتك يي دو كروبتك دو قوم بيتا معنا سوري مع مسك كان بحث كان ضد مع وأنا يروح فريق فبر تحت عن اسمه سوق فيرون نموي معنا حيول اللي حتنموي أو أنو إنها بقصوها عن تام كاتب بسحة معنا أصلا تاكبرو سوق برتي كدرنا
Fatigue becomes a distant memory as they journey homeward. The son dutifully shadows Moses' every move, for in his eyes, life presents no alternative but to inherit his father's vocation. For the residents of Danakil, the sedimentary salt resulting from volcanic eruptions serves as a precious inheritance, sustaining their lives across generations and embodying their unwavering optimism. A special undertaking commences in Zhejiang, located in southwest China. This majestic structure, crafted from pine, is known as the sky cart, or derrick, soaring to a height of 118 meters, equivalent to 39 floors. Some have even likened it to the Eiffel Tower of the East. Like an elder who has witnessed the ebb and flow of life, it stands as a testament to China's illustrious salt production history. Zhejiang was once a city adorned with numerous derricks. As the salt capital of southwest China, it boasted tens of thousands of salt wells, each accompanied by a derrick, a vital component for drilling, well maintenance, and brine extraction. Without derricks, the production of well salt would be rendered impossible. Through a modest well, brine can be pumped from several kilometers beneath the Earth's surface, an extraordinary feat still unparalleled in the world today. The derrick channels the extracted brine through bamboo pipes to nearby kitchens, where dozens of large woks tirelessly simmer day and night. The inky brine, surging forth from the well, yields sparkling white spark salt. This coarse-grained salt, distinct from machine-refined salt, proves ideal for pickling vegetables, imparting a crisp flavor without excessive salinity. In the present era, modern salt-making technology has rendered only a few derricks preserved in Zhejiang, producing a limited quantity of coarse-grained well salt. A unique role in Zhejiang's well salt production is held by the gungong, or derrick maintenance workers. These derricks, hewn from pine, have endured centuries of exposure to the elements, necessitating annual maintenance and material replacements. The gungong serves as both builder and custodian of Zhejiang's well salt heritage. Today, Long Shutian, a 52-year-old Gungong, and his team hasten to ascend the tallest derrick, fulfilling their duties with utmost urgency.
3-5年是不可能的，短了一点。然后我们爬要那个怎么了？四肢要大力，有过得行噻。你看有没有人类，再找点人类。这一片要找这一片要找都要找4个以上，这一片要找4个以上。
Merely weeks ago, an unfortunate accident transpired when a colleague suffered the loss of 3 fingers while preparing materials. Presently, only a handful of individuals possess the knowledge of this craft. The aftermath of the accident has directly resulted in a scarcity of labour. Merely 3 team members remain capable of ascending the derrick to lend their assistance. To aid his comrades, 52-year-old Long must personally partake in the operation. Crafted from pine, the towering derrick surpasses 100 meters in height. In bygone times, Gungong would scale these derricks without protective measures, nimbly replacing steel wires amidst the aerial expanse. Not everyone possesses the capacity to undertake this occupation. Working at such heights with minimal safety precautions necessitates surpassing psychological barriers and adapting to a distinct method of exerting force compared to solid ground. Innate courage becomes paramount. Long Shutian conducts a rough assessment, concluding that over 100 steel wires necessitate replacement, alongside an abundance of wooden wedges. In the scorching summer of Zhejiang, the oppressive heat adds to the exhausting nature of the climb itself. Moreover, solely through this means can the required materials be transported upwards. The task necessitates impeccable teamwork. Once atop the derrick, each member dedicates their utmost effort. Slacking off would only burden others, hence the workers share an unspoken agreement. The workload is contingent upon their physical condition on any given day, while the decision of when to descend the derrick lies with them. An hour elapses, leaving Long already drained. He becomes the first to descend from the derrick. This signifies the conclusion of today's aerial operations. Long yearns to retire in 2 years without delay, but apprehensions cloud his thoughts. He worries about the absence of caretakers for the derricks once he departs.
正儿八经干活了，还是就是在30几、40来往岁的时候，那个时候，真正的像个45过后，老人，都不是很灵活，像我们像个50几更不晓说。
Zhejiang, a salt capital with a centuries-old legacy, embodies the profound wisdom of humankind in the extraction of well salt. This rich history finds safeguarding in the hands of these seasoned craftsmen. Long and his team ascend with great determination, as if staging a grand finale. Mending the derrick takes on the guise of a ceremonial rite. It symbolizes a reverence for a bygone era and cherished traditions, mingled with concerns about the future. It encapsulates an emotion on the brink of fading, yet one that should never be forgotten. Situated in western Austria, Salzburg stands as the country's oldest city. With jubilation, people glide down this slide-like contraption, experiencing the exhilaration of the cool wind as they swiftly descend to the bottom. But this is no ordinary slide. It once served as a source of solace and happiness for miners heading to work in days of yore. Deprived of sunlight throughout their laborious shifts, they toiled, dined, and even worshipped within these confines. The product they extracted was no ordinary commodity, neither coal nor iron, seemingly unremarkable, yet indispensable. As early as the 17th century, visiting the salt mine became a special privilege for Salzburg's esteemed guests. Clinging together, they would brave a steep and slippery wooden chute, akin to embarking on a grand slide, hurtling down at a heart-stopping speed to reach depths of up to 40 meters. This is the renowned Durenberg salt mine. Unlike lake salt, sea salt, pond salt, or well salt, the salt found here lies buried deep within the strata, solid as ore. Resembling crystalline rocks, it has earned the moniker of rock salt amongst enthusiasts. These tunnels are divided into 4 layers, with approximately 40 meters separating each one. Unless one has personally ventured into this underground labyrinth, it's difficult to fathom the enormity of constructing such a subterranean city in pursuit of salt. In 1846, a remarkable discovery was made in the mine: mummies and accompanying artifacts. Archaeologists deduced from the tools in their hands that these preserved bodies were once salt miners dating back to 700 AD. The mysteries surrounding their demise within the depths of these underground mines still elude comprehension. The high salt content ensured their well-preserved state upon their being unearthed. In recent years, Hogg Wendelin and a team of archaeologists have unearthed roughly 400 Celtic tombs near the Durenberg salt mine. These burial sites revealed an abundance of bodies, tools, clothing, leather boots, food, and even excrement belonging to the Celts. Experts speculate that salt mining in the region may have begun during the Iron Age, or perhaps in the Stone Age.
What we know is that around 600, 500 BC, the first major look for or search for salt was going on here. Salt was, of course, one of the major things to own, and to have control over salt mining meant that you could acquire just amazingly big proportion of wealth in the end.
Some exquisite amber unearthed in the tombs is clearly not from Austria, but imported from the Baltic coast or northern European cities. At that time, salt was the main basic commodity, in exchange for other daily necessities.
Nowadays, we would rather think that there is rather some kind of, not an equal society, but that far more people, and also the rich people, were digging up the salt in the mines. So it was not like the big bosses sitting outside the mines and acquiring the wealth by trading.
To this day, Durenberg is the oldest well-documented underground salt mine in Europe. The mountain spring serves as the source of brine, which, through boiling, can be transformed into crystallized salt. The abundant energy required for brine evaporation is readily supplied by the flourishing forest. Positioned advantageously at the foothills of the Alps, the Salzach River gracefully courses through the city of Salzburg, establishing it as a crucial conduit for salt transportation throughout the ages. the highly lucrative salt trade stretched from the Danube to the Adriatic, connecting Italy and the Balkans. Archaeologists have uncovered vivid evidence showcasing the initial encounter between humanity and salt during the Iron Age in this very place. Situated in the Lansang River Valley at an elevation of 2,300 meters, these peculiar constructions emerge along the mountainside. From a distance, they resemble buildings, but upon entering, they reveal themselves as intricate passageways. Locals acquainted with the region's traditions recognize them as salt drying racks. These platforms, upheld by sturdy poles, function as salt pans. As vast expanses of farmland or open pastures are scarce in these villages, these salt pans have sustained the prosperity of a tribe for over 1,200 years. Sering Eugen, a 36-year-old individual, is currently engaged in the initial stage of salt production, extracting brine from a riverside salt well. Unlike in the past, the region now employs more efficient and labor-saving water pumps for this task. There are pools belonging to each family throughout the salt pans. The brine pumped from underground is dried here in the sun until it reaches saturation and then poured into the salt pans. The Markham salt well can produce the world's most colourful salt, from white to red, due to differences in purity. The salt here appears in various states. Sering Eugen is the sole female worker in her family's salt pans, and the busiest season is April, known as the peach blossom salt harvest in Jiada village. This specific period is when the salt pans yield a slightly pink salt, renowned as the finest salt in Markham. During this time, fresh milk is combined with butter, boiled with tea leaves, and seasoned with peach blossom salt to create a butter tea with an exceptional flavour. In accordance with Markham traditions, women handle all the work on the salt pans, while men handle the sales of the sun-dried salt. Salt wells along the ancient Tea Horse Road, spanning from Yunnan to Tibet, have been essential stopovers for caravans transporting salt to high-altitude regions for over a millennium. Markham salt enjoys significant popularity, as the herders believe it promotes the health and reproduction of their livestock. Nonetheless, this endeavor is treacherous, with men enduring hardships to reach the high-altitude pastures, exchanging salt for the scarce food of their homeland, highland barley and beef. Salt production and trade have sustained this salt-making tribe in this inhospitable land for over 1,200 years. In April, unexpected rain arrives in Markham, causing trouble for Eugen. Continuous rainfall devastates many salt pans, signifying the most challenging period for the women of Jiada village. Renovating each salt pan is a labor-intensive task that must be undertaken every 1 or 2 years, relying solely on manual effort. There is a tradition here. Women help each other without charge. Today they are renovating someone else's salt pans, yet Eugen spares no effort, even in the process of spreading mud, striving for precision and perfection. Eugen's sister-in-law has gone to the mountains to collect caterpillar fungus, leaving her daughter Zhuo Ma under Eugen's care. The women commence their work early in the morning and remain occupied for 7 to 8 hours without eating, occasionally sharing jokes to alleviate fatigue. All the materials required for constructing the salt pans originate from the mountains. The supporting wood for the salt pans is 30-year-old pine, while the stones and sand are locally sourced. Similar to the salt springs by the river, these materials are bestowed upon the salt miners as gifts from the plateau. Diluted brine cannot produce peach blossom salt. As April swiftly passes, Eugen would rather exert herself more than miss this fruitful harvest season. Bathed in sunshine and accompanied Eugen's diligent labor has transformed the salt pans into works of art. The unique climate and abundant resources bestowed upon the Markham salt wells by the Dameyong Snow Mountain and the Lansang River are integral to their existence. In this land, women, who are as enchanting as peach blossoms, wisely nurture its prosperity. In northern Germany's small town of Werl, a modest family museum holds the ancient secrets of salt production. These fragments of pottery hold the key to unraveling this enigma. Leidinger, a passionate pharmacist and archaeology enthusiast, made a remarkable discovery in 1963. Unearthing numerous pottery shards at a construction site in Werl, it became evident that they had been buried underground for over 3,000 years. However, their purpose remained a mystery to all. Leidinger's intuition sparked an extraordinary notion. These small pottery shards had the potential to rewrite the history of salt production in Germany and even across Europe. Filled with excitement, he dedicated his spare time to their exploration until his demise.
Ja, das hier ist jetzt die Adelsstandserhebungsurkunde von 1708. Nur hier ist das kaiserliche Siegel drin enthalten. Und hier ist der Text, dass die Erbsälzer von gutem altem Stamme sind und eine Wappenbeschreibung. Hier in diesem Fall der Familie von Celion, genannt Brandis. Da ist hier das Wappen.
These historical documents substantiate that during the 17th century, the salt industry bestowed immense prosperity upon Werl. Still, the city's origins remain shrouded in mystery. In our search through archive photographs, we came across a woman who was constantly by Leidinger's side. This woman is none other than his surviving wife, Kolvik.
Das ist für die auch spannend, was man ihm alles verdankt. Neben dem Gast.
Das ist alles von ihm. Hallo.
Hallo.
Schon Bescheid gesagt, dass ich
Ich sah dich oben durchs Fenster. Komm.
Als ich zum ersten Mal 1965 die Ausgrabung gesehen habe, wo dieses Fürstengrab gewesen ist, da war ich so fasziniert. Wie kann das 800, 900 Jahre in der Erde sein und man findet diese ganzen Sachen. Ich fand das so toll. Das ist ja so Mittelalter, ne?
At first, Kolvik began her journey as an assistant in Leidinger's pharmacy. However, over time, she gradually delved into the realms of archaeology and research alongside him.
Für meinen Mann auch. Wir waren uns da ganz einig. Und dann, als dann diese Salzgeschichte mit den Briketagen anfing, das war so faszinierend. Die Leute, also, was sucht ihr für alle Lehmklumpen da aus der Erde? Was ist das für ein Quatsch? Und wenn man doch bedenkt, dass diese Leute mit diesen Briketagen diese Öfen gebaut haben, um diese Salzkuchen zu machen, das ist so eine faszinierende Geschichte, dass die das schon so im Kopf hatten, so etwas zu machen. Das musste doch alles probiert werden, ne?
This enduring and self-funded archaeological endeavor spanned over 40 years. As Kolvik reminisces, Leidinger would rise promptly at 5:30 every morning and journey several kilometers to explore construction sites in the town before his pharmacy opened at 8. Leidinger firmly believed that these fragments of pottery held the key to reconstructing the lost history they concealed. He dedicated himself to restoring the pottery vessels, convinced that these pottery wares served a singular purpose: salt production. Together, the Leidinger couple revived the ancient method employed over 3,000 years ago, whereby people used pottery pots to boil salt. Alongside the last remaining relics of salt production in the city, they painstakingly pieced together the narrative of salt's historical significance in Europe. In 2010, Leidinger passed away, bequeathing his house and the collections within to the government. In this remote northern German town, these invaluable discoveries have now been permanently preserved.
Dieses Museum ist nach wie vor auch immer noch meine zweite Heimat. Am liebsten gehe ich in Werl zur Mutter Gottes in die Kirche, an zweiter Stelle in das Museum.
Kulvik frequently pays visits to her husband's grave, where she lingers in contemplation. The secrets they unearthed together serve as vivid records, documenting the ancient wisdom employed to obtain salt. Located approximately 300 kilometers from Xining, the capital of Qinghai Province, China, lies the Taka Salt Lake, a magnificent expanse reflecting the sky and clouds, earning the moniker Mirror of the Sky. Within its boundaries exists a world of salt. As one stands amidst the salt marsh, the glistening spectacle is not that of ice, but of salt. During the night, when the temperature plummets, the sky reveals itself adorned with sparkling stars. In the past, a mini train traversed the lake, transporting salt and salt workers. Since the 1970s, Jan, a seasoned salt worker, and his colleagues have been extracting salt from this remarkable site. Unveiling the lake's surface by removing the thin to substantial layers, ranging from a few centimeters to tens of centimeters, uncovers the abundant stratum of salt underneath. This is lake salt, the most direct means by which humans obtain salt. In the past, a miniature train traversed the lake, transporting salt and salt workers. Since the 1970s, Jan, a seasoned salt worker, and his colleagues have been extracting salt from this remarkable site. Nowadays, the mini trains are mainly for sightseeing. Many tourists come to admire the scenery and take some salt crystals home as souvenirs. Jan, the retired salt worker, occasionally visits the lake to gather salt flowers, which he generously presents to tourists.
我们是大美青苔，这个眼瞧着盐也美呀，人也美呀，然后花更美呀，这是一个很好的一个工艺品，来说的话，像这个工艺品呢，以后你摆到家里头讲话，也比较美观。想不想我们吃菜花啊？
Having devoted half of his life to this labor, Jan has witnessed the transformations occurring within the salt lake. In the past, he and his colleagues manually extracted salt, whereas now it is efficiently harvested using mechanical ships. Interestingly, Jan's own son serves as the captain of one such ship. Jan often remarks that each successive generation surpasses the previous one. Speaking of Qinghai Province, China, it is worth noting that the Caka Salt Lake is not the largest in the region. To the west lies the Kahan Salt Lake, which stands as the largest potash fertilizer production base in the country. At the current rate of consumption, it would take 10 centuries to deplete its salt reserves. Nevertheless, both the Caka Salt Lake and the Kahan Salt Lake merely account for a small fraction of the total salt present on our planet. We often acknowledge our planet as a water planet, but it is equally deserving of the title Salt Planet. Salt, no matter how it exists, humans will always find a way to obtain. Throughout much of human history, people diligently searched for salt, employing their wisdom and hard work to produce it. They embarked on long journeys to trade for salt, and even shed blood and tears in its pursuit. As civilization progresses, the connection between humans and salt remains inseparable. Salt serves as a timeless thread, weaving together the tapestry of human stories.